Welcome back to Persephone Says. I have my returning guest, 2 episodes in a row.
Yay.
Eduardo, back at it again with me.
Thanks for having me.
We have a big May for us. So on the previous episode, we talked about TMS's 7th birthday, but it's also our anniversary.
Yes.
And it's our 14-year anniversary. And we've been together 18 years also. We started dating in May. We got married in May.
Our date anniversary is also in May.
Yeah.
Our May is a big month for us.
It is.
It is.
We don't celebrate the date anniversary because we're not turds. However, I think it's important to talk about what we do. And we have in the past when we first started this podcast. It keeps evolving. And I think it's important to talk about it. I think that we should talk about what we do when navigating choppy waters.
Okay.
You go first.
Oh my gosh. I think with any conflict, and I've struggled with this a lot, which is stepping away from the problem and then coming back to it with a clear head. I have a boxing bag at the house. I don't utilize it as much as I should, or I have in the past. And getting back into that routine is important for me. And I think that's one of the things I used to do is step away and
punch something.
Yeah, take out my aggression on something and then come back to it with a clear head. And I think that is a big piece of how we navigate things. And I'm the type of person that wants to resolve it immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately when you're in the emotion, and that's not a good thing. It's never a good place to be. And so I've learned over the years that it is important that I step back and I think about it, because if you don't, you're likely to say something that you're going to regret. And in the past, I've said things that were not kind, or
everyone does that when you're pissed off.
Right, exactly. But living in that emotion and then reacting with that emotion it's just not a good way to come back to find a resolution.
Yeah. First, I wanted to just say that I love you so much and I love doing life with you.
I love you so much. 18 years.
I know, you're the greatest.
Actually, 18 years and 9 months for me, but that's
for another conversation. But I think that social media gives one perspective of life. And I do think that we have a really great, very strong marriage, because I don't think that you can be with someone, frankly, for 18 years without having highs and lows and everything in between. But ultimately, as I've said to you, even though you don't like me saying this, is if you're 80% of the time happy, you're killing it.
Yeah.
If you're 80% of the time this feels great, you're crushing life, in my opinion, with your partner, because 20% is impacted by kids and finances and job and all of those things, right? And so I do feel like we also had the privilege of being together a decade before we had kids. I attribute a lot of why we are so strong in all of the ways. But also, shit happens. And what I've come to the conclusion is that you and I have these loops and these themes that are constant. And so before we came here to record, I was talking this out a little bit. And it's true. We were both this is so fucking stupid that we've been together 18 years and it's the same ride and the same loops. And for me, generally about your communication.
Yes, always.
And my issue is the reverse is the way I deliver something to you is aggressive. Shocking. And what I wrote here is your perception of my delivery is the issue.
Yeah.
And it's been the exact same thing on a loop.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would say it's been on a loop, but it's always gotten better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I also think that there were other things that early on in our marriage that I was just doing that were really immature. I don't know if I've ever shared them here, but I was really testing you to see how fucking far I could push you. And you were
wow.
I mean, I was a child. I mean, we got married at 24 years old. I was literally thinking that it's
very childlike. A child that wants to push their
all the
buttons. Yeah.
Yeah, but we got married at 24 and you were 30 and I was immature.
Was that pushing the buttons? Was that Elf in the elevator?
Yes. Yeah, okay. When I did this? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's the visual I got.
Completely. No, completely. Yeah. You're accurate. But I think at that time I was let me see. He says he loves me. Let me see how fucking far. Does he really love me if I'm acting like a lunatic? And turns out, yes.
I do.
But also And I had shared this with you maybe a year ago, that I was like, I am so sorry that I did that, because that was really shitty. And I didn't realize in the moment, obviously, that I was doing those things that were just actually immature behavior, because I never considered myself a very immature person, but they were. But we were able to push through that. And so it's like, what I feel is that we've been able to return to our true north over and over again. And so I'm curious to know from your perspective, okay, so we cool down. How do we return to true north for you, at least, which is us, right? It's like we are the center.
Yeah. Ultimately, we have to resolve whatever the conflict is at the time, the argument, whatever. But I think you said this, which was like, you can never take me down from a 10 to a 2 until you say, okay, I love you. Number one, that always disarms me for sure, I would say, because I like in my head, and I know you have these feelings too sometimes. It was just like, she's going to leave me. And
I wasn't sure if you were going to actually talk about this, but I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah. But I think that piece, knowing that, oh, yes, is this a conflict? Is it a big argument? Is it a little argument? Whatever it is that ultimately we're gonna keep moving forward together, and that's like important. I think that helps me to be like, okay, I didn't do something that's so bad that she's gonna leave me, right? And that we can always find a way through it, and that is important.
We had a conversation maybe 2 months ago. We don't get in big arguments.
No, not.
Like one a year.
We have probably one blowout a year. It was so much more frequent before. Therapy is a great thing, y'all.
Yeah. We don't go to therapy together.
No, we don't go to we have separate therapists. But I think one of the biggest things for me, and why I would say that in the past, I was largely the biggest piece of the blowouts, because
that's not true.
That it is true, actually, because before, even my previous therapist was not great, but my therapist now is amazing. But even in that time when I was initially going to therapy, I didn't know how to emote. So I would keep everything inside. And then even the littlest thing, because it had been piling up, would set me off. And that learning how to deal with that has been a big growth piece for me in how I handle any conflict that we get in.
Totally.
Because before it would be like, I'm up to here with whatever it is, and that most of it below is not even about you, but it would come out at you.
Or it might be.
Sure, it might be, but like for the majority of the time, it's not.
That's not true, but that's also okay. I think we both came to this conclusion about, like I said, about 2 months ago, where we're both operating from a place of like fear, because we love each other so much that when you have, and we've gone through some shit, which we've shared here, right? Like when you have layers and layers and layers and layers of stress and pressure, it's scary. And we were in an argument that just kept going.
Yeah.
And we both were so emotional about it. And we were on a plane, and I was like, there's only one thing that can happen here to have me leave. I'm not going anywhere. I need you to know that. Yeah. I'm not leaving you. And I'm so scared that you're going to leave me. And you were like, I'm so scared. And I'm like, why are we so scared? Why are we so scared? Because we love each other so much. We prioritize each other so much. But I actually think that part of the reason why we work is that there is an underlying fear of like, I actually can't live without this human being. I love this person so much. I want to like squeeze you to pieces. And the thought of that is so devastating. So I don't. And because when we made the decision to get married, I come from such a broken family that I was only going to do this one time, period.
Yeah.
And we don't throw daggers, D-word daggers ever.
Nope.
So everything else is figure outable.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a big unlock for us both in that moment. Why are we? It's stressful. We moved also. So that was another big piece of this. And I think we've navigated it pretty well. But like on top of that, there's still lots of things that are happening, and our kids, and life is still lifing. But it was such a reaffirmation to me that it's like, we love each other so much that there's nothing to be afraid of, because no one is
going anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
like, we can work this out and we don't need to be reacting like we're going to choke the puppy. Like, we don't need to squeeze so tight because I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't need to hurt you with words because you're not. It really disarmed me.
Yeah. Thank God for the delay that we were on.
We were on. Yeah. Yeah. No, it ultimately was good. But I wasn't sure if you were actually going to say that here. We didn't talk about that. But I really appreciate you sharing that because I do think that it rewired my brain. I have recognized. So what he was saying earlier, when we're on these loops, I need a moment usually to step away.
You do.
And I will, whether it's intentional or not, when I'm speaking to you and it is heated, I'm always here and like he's always here. I know you might think differently, but actually that is how it is. It has always been. The only time he pops off is like during this moment and he's so cool, calm, and collected. And I'm here and won't bring it, very rarely will bring it to an elevated yelling level, which is, again, who would have thought? But your perception of that is that it's condescending. There are times when it's condescending, I'm very aware of when I'm like, I'm going to take you out. However, there are times where it is actually not deliberate at all. And it's just like, and that's why I wrote, it is your perception of my delivery. And so we just have to find that this is typically how it goes. We're in different rooms. I'm taking a walk. He might be punching a bag. We're text messaging something very passive aggressive or just aggressive in the other room sometimes.
Yeah.
And then one person has to step forward. And I will say, I've realized, and I know there was an episode that both people have to apologize for fucking something in order to move through something. Even if it's like, I'm sorry, I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry I used that word. I'm whatever.
Yeah.
But I really do think the only way through is through an I'm sorry, of delivery, of words said, of hurt, of whatever.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I think you sit in that and you actually can't.
Yeah, because then you're always thinking, she didn't apologize for that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, why? And yeah, I do agree with that. I think Persephone said it's usually her, but I don't believe that.
No, like at the last lately, I've just recognized that, okay, I love this man so much. And I actually go back to when we first got together and like, why do I love this man? Because of all these things. Actually, of course, I love you as a father and all the, like, yes, obviously, but it will always be me and you.
Always.
So I think about that, and that's what takes me down, is like the original peony.
Yeah.
Because when we really had no problems and when we really had no stresses and we were in college, and I don't know, I think sometimes people lose sight of when it was just
us.
Yeah. Because we prioritize us first, always.
It's funny that we lose sight of it because we oftentimes say to the boys that it's me and mom versus y'all too.
Oh no,
like,
we 100% do.
It's not, yes, we're a team, but ultimately it's going to be mom and I versus y'all.
It's us against you.
Yeah, it's us against you.
Yeah. But I do think that reminder of like how we fell in love allows me to take myself out of that. Yeah.
You think about that every time?
I honestly do.
That's beautiful.
No, I swear to God, I always do. Because it's like, we're still those people.
We are still peony.
Yeah.
Always.
And then I find us always giggling through whatever is going on. And then I think that ends up being where we're self-deprecating enough to then start, once we've gone through that prickly part, we can joke about whatever stupid thing just happened.
Sure.
Or stupid behavior just happened. And that's always been us, is like humor and giggling and being self-deprecating about each other.
Find someone who makes you laugh.
Yeah. No.
Always.
It's 100% true.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. You didn't think I was going to say that?
No, I don't do it enough, but I think that in recent years, I've done it better than I used to, which is looking at it from your perspective. I do oftentimes think that when I didn't used to emote, and then sometimes these days I probably emote too much, where that emotion overtakes my point.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Where I'll be so mad about your delivery that I lose sight about why I was actually mad, and it's just all focused on that. And then it becomes me just being mad about the way that you delivered something. But it's like there was a conflict in there somewhere. But I think as of recently, I'd probably say the past 2 years, is to just understand that there's actually whatever that argument was about, and it's not just about
delivery.
Her delivery.
And also, I also will spiral of your delivery, but right back in, why are you still delivering the same fucking way for 18 years? Like, how are we still here?
Yeah.
But I could never say otherwise that hasn't improved. I mean,
get a good therapist, y'all.
Yeah, it feels sometimes like it's at a glacial pace.
Sometimes, yeah.
For change in communication, but it really, the only way through is through baby steps towards something, right? And you can't ask someone to change how they move through life. You have to want to reflect and change slightly every time that situation comes through. So I don't think that you are one of one as far as men not communicating or emoting.
True.
But I do think that when I know where you stand versus defaulting to me, it's a lot easier for me.
Yeah. So I'm still not a great communicator, but I think that has gotten better over time for sure. Communicating why I'm mad versus just being mad it has been a big part of my growth, is like, why am I actually mad? And what is the point that I'm trying to make? Because if I don't know the point that I'm trying to make and I'm just mad because she's delivering something at an even, calm and level-headed way, and I'm like taking it as condescending, and I'm just mad about that. It's like, you're never gonna grow if you don't know what the fuck set you off or what your point was of getting angry. But I think oftentimes, and I'm not gonna generalize all men, but sometimes the ego, I'm right because I'm the man. It's like, no, that's not true. And trust me, I come from a culture that's very machismo, and it took me a very long time to step away from that piece of who I was to like the more, I want to say I'm more even keel now, but
definitely
it took me a very long time to get there.
How do you think that I've changed over the past 18 years in our relationship?
I think you're more empathetic.
Really?
Actually, yes. More empathetic to my perspective on whatever that argument was about, whatever the conflict was about. I think that's changed a lot, actually.
You haven't told me this.
Breaking news for everybody. But I think that that has changed a lot. And it's also because of the growth that I've made, right? I think it's two-sided in the fact that now I can communicate better what I'm feeling, that now you can be more empathetic, where before when I wasn't communicating, you were like, why the fuck is this man mad? And it would just take so long for it to come out of why I was mad. And sometimes it'd be days. We've already resolved the conflict, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, here's why I was really mad. And those days are now probably hours. And, I think that has helped you be more empathetic to the way that I'm thinking about things, or the way that I took something, or my perception of your delivery on that.
Or my delivery.
But I think I'd probably say that's the biggest thing.
Thank you. I've been working on it.
I know.
I've been working on it.
I see you.
Yeah. I mean, can't be right 100% of the time. And no woman is, or in no relationship, like, you're not going to actually, I think that's why I go back to like who we were, because it's like, what's the point? Do you want to be happy? You always say, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? And it's like, I just want to be happy and also not argue with the person that I love more than anybody in the world.
Yeah.
And so I have to find a place of understanding, even if like I don't like it or I'm still mad or frustrated. I think those two things can still coexist. I can still be hurt and frustrated and also understand. And I do also feel like, especially from a working dynamic perspective, like I've really tried to be more measured on gating a conversation, because I know how you're going to take it and you're going to personalize it when it's like, I'm just giving very direct feedback that I would give and do. And I don't want you to think I'm talking about who Eddie is. I'm talking about this thing that I need help fixing. And that's just part of working together.
Yeah.
But I do think that I'm so hyper conscious of it, because I realized, especially when we first started working together, that if I was just as direct to you as I wanted to be, that you would actually, it was like paralysis.
Yeah.
If I want nothing good to come of this conversation, do that. Like, and just really hammer out whatever point I'm feeling in that fucking moment. And sometimes I'm just pissed and I'll tell you, I'm not coming for your throat or your position. I'm saying this thing is just frustrating.
Yeah.
But I feel like I do always say to you, I'm not coming for you on a personal.
Yeah. I would say that the majority of our conflict is actually work related.
It is actually almost entirely. It is, in fact, entirely work related.
Totally. Yeah. And in therapy this week, actually, my therapist was like, y'all do something that nobody really can do well, which is work together. And you also parent together, or also husband and wife, and you're also all these things.
Love each other.
And she was like, you guys do that so well. And it is a skill.
For sure.
To navigate all of these different aspects. Most people can't even fucking be husband and wife, let alone the fucking frustrations with the kids and all of that piling on top of each other. That I think those are the biggest pieces that, and honestly, a lot of it was coming from my end, the communication aspect for sure.
Me too, Eddie, though. I can't just come at you because we're husband and wife. Like,
no, I understand.
I was, though. Let's be so for real. I was, and you said that to me, and you wouldn't speak like that if you didn't feel so comfortable speaking like that. And
and I think a lot of it also stems from, and the reason why I would say the conflict is the majority is work related is because, and you've done a really good job about this as well, which is the first thing you usually say to me is, I'm not negating all the good things that you do, but I'm also frustrated with this one thing. And that has actually helped a lot, because in the past, and honestly, one of the biggest reasons I started going to therapy was like the self-worth of who I am professionally and how that all works into my dynamic as a professional. And I would take a lot of, and in the earlier days of Persephone and I working together, it was like she would express some frustration, and then I would think, oh, fuck, I suck at everything. And it's like,
and then hide things from me.
Yeah. And then that piece of it where you say, I'm not negating all of the great things you do, I'm frustrated with this one thing, has really helped in me navigating that, because before you would say, I'm frustrated with this thing, and I'd be like, fuck, I suck. And I'm just the worst at everything. And that would ultimately, my psyche would just be broken, because I'm not necessarily focused on the one frustrating thing. I think everything's frustrating. And that again, going back to the whole empathy thing, is I think even just that delivery is very empathetic, in the fact that knowing that I'm going to accept it as everything in the sky is falling when it's actually not, but being forthright with that piece has helped me to navigate that thought process around who I am.
And I don't deserve to have that much power over how you feel about yourself. That is not a state that I want to find myself in. Yeah. And it was scary to me that if I pushed on something about a client, that you would crumble. That's not nice.
Yeah.
And I'm not responsible for your feelings and all of those therapy things. Okay. But also, if that is how you react to me, then I need to be aware of that, because I love you. And I need to find a different modality to still make my point, and also not cut you off at the knees. That's not how I want my husband to feel. But I think when you said that, I can't remember when, but this was a while ago, when you were like, you wouldn't say that to anyone else like that. That delivery was harsh or whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it was warranted or not is actually completely immaterial. I think I am constantly editing our team all the time, and it's very direct, maybe abrasive. I hope less abrasive these days. But same with Richard. If there's something that I'm like, I need you to tweak it like this, I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'm just saying, I want it to be like this.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing everything else great out. I said this to you a couple weeks ago when we came to that point of this fear-based response with each other. And is that we, especially over the past 3 years, like if shit was going to go down, it was going to happen then, right?
Sure.
Like most couples could not handle the level of pressure, stress, pain, trauma and still hold hands together in this battle. And so I was like, you got nothing to worry about, period. I'm not saying to let your foot off the gas. That's not how you operate. But I'm just saying, like, you don't need to worry that we can't move through this together. Yeah. This is really about communication, or this is really about whatever. And once it becomes not communication, it's going to be something else. Right? Like, and not deliver, it's going to be something else. Maybe. I really thought about it, and it's like most people really couldn't survive.
No.
And they would either blame or leave or give up.
Yeah.
And we didn't. We're good.
We good.
And I'm still happy, and I'm still giggling with you in 80-20.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just really appreciate where we are.
Me too.
It's not perfect. It's never been perfect, but it's really great.
How have I changed over the last 18 years?
You've said it over and over again. You literally didn't. You only showed two emotions: extreme love and happiness and adoration. And you showing affection has always been there with me, or sadness, emotion, overwhelmed with emotion to tears. You always had those two in check, but it was the parts in between.
Yeah.
Where this thing is annoying you, or I'm frustrated, or an annoyance was, I think, because we're all annoyed by stupid shit all the time, and especially with kids, and there's just always things, right? Sure. It's definitely your recognition of, I need to find a path to communicate these things. It might not happen instantly, but it's steps forward that I cannot acknowledge. It's definitely progress and evolution, especially the past 2 and 3 years, really, actually, since you've gone to this therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate it.
I love you very much.
I love you more. I think we can just leave it there.
Yeah.
You'll be back. But it had been a while since you had been on the podcast.
It had been a while.
We needed to give the people what they want.
That's it.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The comic relief of the show.
The comic relief of life. The comic relief of our lives.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah. No, I love doing life with you, and I love parenting with you, and I love you
working with you.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. I can't imagine it any other way. Even sometimes I think to myself, to your point, our prickliness always is around work. But would I want him doing something else or not doing this with me?
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine. I literally cannot imagine that. Because the highs are so high.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it any other way. I would rather figure it out through with you than be on an island, because it's so isolating. So,
yeah. I love you very much.
I love you more.
Thank you for having me.
Always. That's it, guys. Till next time. See ya.
See ya.
I love you.
I love you too. See ya.
See ya.